All right, I see it. Tootie Ray.
Yes, sir.
Tootie Ray asks, can you break down marriage, divorce in the Bible, or how sex is marriage considered into the Bible? Exodus 22:16, Tobit 7:11, Matthew 5:31, and Matthew 19:1 through 12. The brother said he's just seeking edification, had a disagreement with the brother from your camp, but after studying, I kind of understood what the brother was saying, so I wanted more clarification. Well, first and foremost, let's give a hand for Tootie Ray for acknowledging that he had a disagreement with a brother. What Tootie Ray did, what most people won't do, is he actually went into the Bible and read what the brother was trying to break down to him and came to an acknowledgement that, you know what, maybe this brother's on to something that I'm not on to. All right, so let's go ahead and give Tootie Ray a little bit more of a breakdown on marriage and divorce concerning the scriptures that he pulled. All right, so let me get Exodus chapter 22, verse 16 first.
Come on.
Let me just say this for Tootie Ray and for all the brothers and sisters that's listening out there, right? The Bible identifies sex as what consummates a marriage or makes a marriage official. Everybody understands. A woman could be promised to a man could, meet a woman and talk to her real good and sweet, game her up, and you could think that this woman is fit to be your woman. She says she's down with you. But until you lay that woman down in the bed, the Lord does not view her as being your woman. Everybody understands. But what you must understand is that just laying a woman down does not mean that she's going to be a wife. You understand? Sex is marriage according to the Bible. You have sex with a woman, you are married to her. But don't think that just because you have sex with a woman, she's ready to be a wife. You understand? Sex does not mean that as soon as you finish laying down, now she's going to go cook and clean and call you Lord and Sir and do all the things you said to do. Marriage is something that is a relationship is something that is established over time. And even though you lay a woman down and you have sex with her, you're not going to have a marriage or a relationship until time reveals what that relationship is going to be. That's why here in the I.S.U.P.K, we have a 6-month rule. When brothers and sisters first come into the school, you are required to not seek to marry anyone unless you go through a courtship process. And here in the I.S.U.P.K, the required courtship process is meant to last 6 months. And in that 6 months, a brother and a sister is supposed to exhaust all opportunities available to them to really get to know one another. And you don't really know a woman. You don't really have a relationship with a woman until you argue, till you fight, till you have a disagreement, till you know how she handles being told no, till you know how she handles not having her way. And unfortunately, brothers come in the truth and learn that sex is marriage and think that they can have sex with a woman, and that means they're going to have a wife. Having sex with a woman means you're married, but it doesn't mean that you have a wife. Everybody understands? And I would urge every brother not to put yourself into understanding what it is I'm saying. Just take our word for it. It's better you take your time to get to know a woman before you marry a woman and find out that you don't have a wife. Everybody understand? That's right. So let's go ahead and get Exodus 22:16 for the brother.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
What is this talking about? This is talking about in modern times, you meet a woman, you ask her, excuse me, miss, you got a man? She say, no, I ain't got no man. You say, how long you been single? You say, well, I've been single for about a year or two now. And you say, okay, you single, but are you dating? She say, no, I'm not dating nobody. Then you got to ask her, well, are you having sex with anybody? She said, no, I'm not having sex with nobody. That's how you know a woman is available. Just asking if she have a man does not mean she's available. Well, a lot of women nowadays, they are not in relationships, but they are having sex with a lot of different men. You want to make sure as a man, you do your due diligence to find out that a woman is single and available according to the Lord's standard, not according to what she thinks. A lot of women think they're available, but they having sex with 2 or 3 men. They don't have no ties. They're not in a relationship. But a woman having sex with a man means that she is his wife. Everybody understands that they are married. And why would you, as a man who knows the truth, want to be with a woman who is married to some man that doesn't even care enough about her to have a relationship? That's a woman the Bible calls a light woman. You don't want to choose a light woman. That's right. Any woman that'll have sex with a man and don't think that that means anything, that's not the kind of woman you want to make a wife. Everybody understands. But this scripture is talking about meeting a woman and you find out she doesn't have a man, and then you lay her down and you have sex with her. Now she's your wife. You're going to endow her to be your wife. Everybody understands? So this scripture here is one of the first precepts that we use when breaking down how sex is marriage according to the Bible. This scripture doesn't say you have sex with her and then you find out you don't like her and you roll out. You have sex with her, she won't do what you tell her to do. So you throw your hands up and you're done with her. This is if you find a woman that is not betrothed or not with someone, and you entice her and lay her down, then you gonna make her your wife. Everybody understands? All right, let's drop that scripture. Let's get the other one the brother asked for, because he asked for scriptures on marriage and divorce. Now let's go to Tobit chapter 7, verse 11. A lot of fake Israelites get caught up in Tobit 7 and 11 because they don't understand the nature of Tobit dealing with this sister. You understand? If you go read the book of Tobit, there was an entire process that Tobit had to go through in order to find out if this sister was available to him. And in going through that process to find out if the sister was available, there were certain stipulations that Tobit had to meet in order to make this woman his wife. One of those stipulations came with Tobit and the woman's father making an agreement. You understand? This woman's father was in her life, and Tobit had to make an agreement with her father before he could lay her down. The majority of the women you're going to meet out here in the world, their fathers are not in their lives. Right. And even if their fathers are in their lives, their fathers don't know nothing about making an agreement to marry their daughter off. Everybody understands? So fake Israelites read this scripture and believe that it is saying you have to get a marriage license. But we're going to break it down and show you that's not at all what it's talking about. Read Tobit chapter 7, verse 11.
Tobit chapter 7, verse 11. I have given my daughter in marriage to 7 men who died that night. They came in unto her. Nevertheless, for the present be merry. But Tobias said, I will eat nothing here till we agree and swear one to another. Verse 12. Raguel said, then take her from henceforth according to the manner, for thou art her cousin, and she is thine. And the merciful God give you good success in all things. Verse 13. Then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand and gave her to be wife to Tobias, saying, behold, take her after the law of Moses and lead her away to thy father. And he blessed them. Verse 14, and called Edna his wife and took paper and did write an instrument of covenants and sealed it. Verse 15, then they began to eat. Verse 16.
No, stop right there. So boom, that writing of a covenant that Tobias, the sister's father had his wife write and record an agreement between Tobit and the father that I'm giving my daughter to you as a wife. Everybody understands? Fake Israelites read that and say you need a marriage license, right? How do you cut someone that tries to use this scripture to say, see, Tobit had to get a marriage license. You got to get a marriage license if you're going to marry a woman. You got to go and get a certificate and get it written in paper that this woman belongs to you. How do you cut somebody that says that? Anybody? Come on with it.
Sakawar-Marriage, is it because they didn't go to the so-called oppressor? It was a contract between our family.
Perfect. This is a deal between two men. Okay. Between a woman's father and the man that's marrying her. Government had nothing to do with this. There wasn't no priest there. There wasn't no religious service. There wasn't no marriage license that had to be filed with the government. This was Tootie Ray. Don't take it personal, brother. I'm not calling you a fake Israelite. You didn't pull this scripture and say this is a certificate in marriage. Don't take offense, Tootie Ray. Right. Why are you making it personal? Why are you making yourself a fake Israelite, Tootie Ray? I just gave you credit for coming into class and asking a question. Don't be offended, brother. Focus in on the class. Focus in on what's being broken down. Don't take offense. I didn't say Tootie Ray is a fake Israelite, but fake Israelites use this scripture to say a man cannot be married to a woman unless they have a piece of paper. This is not what this scripture is saying. This is an example of one brother, Tobit, who went through a lot to marry this sister, and her father wanted it to be recorded that I'm giving this brother, I'm giving my daughter over to this brother. Now, why was it important for the sister's father to get this instrument in writing? Does anybody know? Why did he have his wife record that I gave my daughter over to Tobit? Anybody? Is right. The answer is right in what we read concerning the scripture. Go ahead.
Is it because he had already given his daughter in marriage to 7 other men?
Yes, it is because this sister had a record of men dying on her marriage night. And so it would be recorded that the father had nothing wrong to do with this brother's death if it happened. He made sure that it was recorded. Hey, I gave my daughter to this brother. I told the brother, the Lord be with him and be well. Everything that was stated from verse 11, from verse 13 down to 15 was recorded in the writing. Everybody understands? This sister's father wanted it to be recorded that I'm giving my daughter over to this man. He willingly wants her, and it's out of my hands. Everybody understands? But this scripture was not going to the white man's government and saying, I want to get a marriage license between me and this woman. And in case things don't work out, we want the government to be the one who decide how we separate our affairs. You understand? I want everybody in this room to know tonight that the white man's marriage certificate is a business contract. That's all it is. It's a legal document that ties you financially to your woman. It makes you a business partnership. And what you do in making that business partnership with the government is you give the government the arbitration rights if that business dissolves. Divorce is the separation of a business. It is the dissolving of a business partnership. And when you sign that marriage certificate, you give the government arbitration rights to decide over who gets what when that business is dissolved. Now, unless you got a woman who you entering into business with and you trust that she's someone who's going to be very valuable asset to you financially, and you trust that in the instance that this business dissolves, that she'll do right by you concerning the finances, I don't see why anyone would go get a marriage license. That's just me. Everybody understands. But it's a financial instrument, has nothing to do with God, has nothing to do with the Bible. The Most High sees the union between a man and a woman being when a man is inside of a woman and they become one. Everybody understands? That's the union between man and woman in the sight of God. You go in that bedroom, you lay that woman down, and you enter her. That's when you become one. Everybody understands? All right, let's get these other 2 scriptures the brother had. I believe these next 2 are pertaining to divorce. We got Matthew 5:31 and then Matthew chapter 19. Let's get Matthew 5:31. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 31. It hath been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. Verse 32. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery.
Everybody understands. What is this scripture saying? This scripture is an anti-monogamy scripture. Everybody understands. This scripture is not, this is an anti-monogamy scripture. Why is that? In American society today, in Western civilization today, you cannot be married to more than one woman. In Western society, the right way to have 2 women is if you're married to a woman, you meet another woman. This woman you meet, she satisfies you and she brings you some type of pleasure, and you see yourself building a relationship with this woman and having something that you can sustain with her. The only right way to deal with this woman you just met is to leave the one you've been with. You got to throw away the woman that you have had a relationship with in order to be with this new woman. And this scripture right here is saying you are a sinner and an evil, disgusting bastard if you do that. Everybody understand? This scripture right here is anti-Christianity. It is anti-monogamy, but it says nothing about having 2 wives. This says if you put away a woman and go and marry another, you've committed adultery. Why didn't he say if you keep both of them? Why didn't he speak on keeping both of the women? Does anybody know? Why did Christ address monogamy and not speak about polygamy?
So like, if I may, if I may, he compared the kingdom of heaven likened to, 10 virgins that went after one man.
He compared the kingdom of heaven likened to 10 virgins marrying one man.
Come.
So what does that tell you? Why didn't he address a man having 2 wives? Why didn't he bring that up?
Because it's lawful to have more than one wife.
Because that is something that was already established in Israelite culture. He wouldn't have to teach it's okay if that man have 2 wives, because that's something that was already known. But these bastards during Christ's day were just like the bastards of today. They can't handle 2 women. They can't handle having a difficult conversation with a woman they've been with for years and saying, listen, baby, I know we got a good thing going. I love you and we got children together and we have a wonderful relationship. But I met someone and I like her too. And I think I want to explore what I could have with her. So I just wanted to make sure that you are aware and that you know I might be making some adjustments. There may be some changes, but just know it's not going to affect our relationship. That's a difficult conversation to have. It's hard to sit down a woman who you love, who you've been with for years, and look her in the eyes and say, I met somebody else, and I like her too. And I want to be with her and with you. But brothers don't realize that if you do that, your woman will respect you. If you do that, your woman will admire you for having the strength and the balls to do it. Does it mean she's going to be happy? Yeah, get out of hand. Does it mean she's going to be happy? No. She's going to be excited and say, oh, that's wonderful news, baby. You met someone new. No. She's 9 times out of 10, she's not going to like it. She may be upset. She may cry. She may say, you know, well, go be with that woman then. But you have to understand that her temporary emotions can be overridden by your strength and your honesty and your manliness in coming and telling her. Weak men can't be honest with their woman. They can't look her in her eyes and tell her there's someone else. They'd rather just divorce her. They'd rather just have her be in pain and have her depressed and miserable because they're not man enough to face the reality of who they are. Don't be like that. Everybody understands. If you want to be a man and have more than one woman, then you better go through the struggle that comes with being that man. You better go through that difficulty of sitting that woman down and having that conversation, or else you'll run the risk of losing that woman. You understand? And it doesn't make you manly if you go and get another woman and be afraid to tell your woman about it. Then she find out some kind of way and now she's mad and want to leave. A lot of brothers make the mistake of thinking that it's honorable if a woman leave you because you got another woman. It's not honorable. Depending on how you go about it is what makes it honorable or not. If you lie and you trying to sneak and get caught, then you mad at her because she ain't accepting it. Why would she accept it? Look at how you behaved yourself. Look at how you conducted yourself. Why would she respect you and you was a coward about it? Maybe if you would have been man enough and sat her down and talked about it or found some way to deal with it properly, you could have kept both of them women. Everybody understands? Get counsel. You understand? You brothers out there, you want to have more than one woman, get some counsel and understand how to do things the right way, because you might think that you're doing something honorable and you're not. Everybody understands? All right, but yeah, Christ, even during 2,000 years ago, niggas was afraid to look their woman in the eyes and say, baby, I met somebody. You understand? It's not an easy thing to do. I don't know why anybody expected it would be an easy thing to do. But if you're going to be that man that has that life, then you're going to have to deal with the difficulties that come along with it. Everybody understands? Boom, we could drop that. Let's get Matthew 19:1. I don't know if we want to read all the way down to verse 12, but let me go ahead and read Matthew 19:1 for the brother Tootie Ray, all right?
Matthew chapter 19, verse 1. And it came to pass that when Yahushua had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. Verse 2. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. Verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
So boom, Christ is out there healing, right? Healing, performing miracles, teaching and breaking down the scriptures. And the Pharisees and Sadducees want to find a way to make him unpopular with the people. Everybody understands? The Pharisees and Sadducees tried to run a smear campaign the entire time that Christ was on the earth. While Christ was on the earth teaching and healing, the Pharisees and Sadducees wanted to try to find some way to take away his popularity, take away the people's excitement about his presence, right? So one of the things they tried to do was to find ways to make him unpopular with the people. What was something that was popular with the people during this time? A man giving a woman a writing of divorcement for every reason. That woman don't want to listen. She ain't make me a sandwich the other night. She mad because I told her I needed to borrow $1,000 to handle this business. Whatever the reason was, they were allowing men to divorce their wives. So the Pharisees and Sadducees came to Christ saying, is it lawful for a man to put away his woman for every cause? Let's read.
Verse 4, Matthew chapter 19, verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? Verse 5. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Verse 6. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
Real quick, so let me ask you this. So Christ said from the beginning, it was written that God made male and female, right? And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall twain be one flesh. What is the cause for which a man will leave his mother and father and be joined to his woman?
So like you
Come
said,
on with it.
To start his own family.
Okay. Why? Why would a man want to leave his mother and father and start his own family? What is the thing that causes a man to say, you know what? I got to get out of here. I got to make my own way now. Come on with it.
So like your responsibility.
What responsibility?
So like it being a leader.
What made him want to be a leader?
His family.
Okay.
So,
he doesn't have a family yet. It's just him and his woman.
So like it.
Go ahead.
Would it be like a certain age?
No, that's not what this says. It doesn't give an age here. It says, for this cause shall a man leave mother and father and cleave unto his wife. One reason with a man that we all at one time were young men, right? We lived under our parents' roof. Some of us had one parent, some of us had both. And it was comfortable, right? Had a wonderful life living at your people's crib. What is that thing that came along in life that made you say, you know what, man, I gotta get my own space?
You try to knock some boots. Sex.
Sex is what make a man say, I gotta get out of my mother and dad's house. Because I can't have the sex I want to have in this basement. I can't have the sex I want to have in this twin bed. I can't have the sex I want to have in this room next to my mother's. I got to get my own place. Everybody understand? The for this cause is the sex. Everybody understand? That's not it. It's important that you understand this. The Lord knew what he did when he made a man and a woman come together as one. And he knew it would be something that was so transformative in a man's life that it would make him say, deuces, mom and dad, I got to go be my own man now. I got to get my own family. Think about society today. We live in a very materialistic world, right? A lot of this world is built on people desiring and wanting to have possessions. What is the number one driver of materialism? What's the reason a man like to get fresh and want to look good and smell good and drive a nice car and have a big house?
So like women.
Sex. You want to get sex. Good sex. Fine sex. Bad sex. How you going to get it? What do women like? Women like to see things. Women like to say, ooh, what's that on your head? Ooh, look at his hair. Ooh, nice car. If you could get a woman living in the shoebox and walking and catching the bus, then you'd have her in that shoebox and walking and catching the bus. Everybody understands. The world is driven by man's desire for that thing that God said would cause you to leave your mother and your father. Everybody understands. And that them two becoming one flesh, that's that sex. You understand? So it's very important to understand the impact that choosing a woman can have on your life. It's strong enough to make a man leave his mother and father and cling to his woman. Everybody understands?
Oh, God.